Okay, guys, I hope it works. Hi, everyone. Checking out if it works. So please, can you tell me if you hear me well and see me well, please? Hi, Menno. Hi, Donabas. Hi, Gert again. I'm waiting for your signal, guys, because I had some issues, and the most issues we had was not about the connection, but rather about the samples for once. Let me see. Okay, sound is great. Thank you very much. Hi, David. Hi, Mark. We will go live. I will introduce everything, Al, and well, I'll bring you in my guest very quick because we had some issues. Apologies for being late. Okay, so I have the pleasure to introduce you to Mr. Al. Does it work? Okay. Okay. Oh, Twin. Hi, Al. We're good
I'm
now.
Yep. Hi, Greg. How are
Everyone.
you?
Oh, hi, Frederick. Long time no see. Skull. Before I introduce you to my guest, I have to tell you we had a few issues. It always can happen. So the lineup has changed. I sent 6 or 7 samples to Al, and there's one that has been a bit put aside. But because I had more samples than the 5 we intended to do, we just switched one. Now it gets more complicated because we both have a sample from Jim Whiskey Novice, and look at what's going on with mine, almost evaporated. It was the only one that only new kind of samples. I didn't know about how it can last with time and with the temperature I have here. So there was a very hot summer, and guess what? The 4 samples are almost gone. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry, Al, because you had it, and I guess yours is okay. Your
Oh, it should
sample is
be. I hope
okay.
so. Yep.
Okay. At least if it doesn't have this level, it's good. It was full. So so sorry. So there will not be a raw and co-cast drink. So I still have no idea how it tastes like. But I had to exchange it. No, I don't have proper 12 meadow. But I have something special. Yeah, it's not on the table, but never mind. It's down there. Okay, so how long? I guess 6 months maybe, Mark. And hi again, Gert. And thank you everyone for being there. So before, in order not to lose too much time, I will introduce my guest. Then I have a few questions for him, and then we'll start the blind tasting, which will mainly be for Al, but is not about guessing absolutely what it is. It's like I say often, bless you. It's about having a journey together with a whiskey, because I appreciate Al's palate and taste, and also character, a sense of humor, and I wanted to have him. We will also speak about his channel, but before anything, who are you, my friend, and what is your channel about? Can you tell just a few minutes about that?
I am basically just someone who loves whiskey, who decided that, you know what, I want to explore it a wee bit more. And I used to have a bit of a blog and I wrote about it. And then I decided, or well, I was talked into it by Vin at No Nonsense Whiskey
Okay.
to try YouTube. And it was a bit of a learning experience, I have to say, to get up to the way it is for me now. But my channel's called Whiskey Straight, and yeah, things are going well. I finally think I've got it to where I want it to be, and I should be spending a wee bit more time doing it now, saying an old retired man.
When did you start your whiskey channel?
I think it was just
Al?
over 3 years ago.
Oh,
And
so almost like me.
yeah, something like that. It was, and I didn't really know what I was doing at the start. It was a big learning curve, but you gradually get there. I used to be into photography and stuff, but videography and
Oh,
editing are a way lot more
okay.
complicated. I thought it would have been a lot easier, but I gradually got into the groove and settings
Ah,
and getting the right camera and figuring out how to edit. So
okay.
it,
Yeah, you
there's a,
do editing. I don't do, so it's a big difference between us. But also, you have a better camera, as Mark's put it on, than mine. I shall invest in there, but got no Patreon, and for now, it's a long topic. Before we go into what is your whiskey journey and all that, yeah, it seems, Menno. Can you see the comments, Al, or I will
oh yes,
highlight
I
them?
can. Yeah,
I cannot. Okay, I cannot do them all the time because I have to keep track. But yeah, I guess so, and I guess it was probably some of you guys in the chat starting at that time, right? Yeah, thanks a lot, Frederick. That's a good idea. I appreciate it. Before we start, and only if you feel so, I know we're a bit late. Do you want to say a word or two, Al, about something? Because people knew last year and this year you had some health issues. I also had, but also maybe some people don't know about sarcoidosis. Sorry for the pronunciation, and maybe we could use this occasion to for people to have attention to this problem and maybe pay it more attention if you feel like.
yeah,
I'll
that's all right.
just so
It's all
what
right.
is it first?
It helps to explain sometimes when you see me a bit out of breath or I get a bit wheezy. But I'll just go back a bit. As a lot of people know, I used to be a police officer, and it was actually 8 years ago in May coming that I was involved in a very bad car crash at work, and I required spinal
Oh
surgery. And then
my God.
just after that, I started having difficulties in breathing, and I was diagnosed with a thing called sarcoidosis, which I had never heard of before. And that's apparently a fairly rare disease, but it mostly manifests itself in the lungs, 95% of people. And the best way to describe it is that the ultimate trickster disease. Nobody knows how it starts, but it's basically a dysfunction of the immune system. Normally, when there's an infection in your body, your immune system kicks in, sends out the wee white blood cells to destroy the infection. But with sarcoidosis, it tricks the body into thinking there's an infection when there actually is none. So then the immune system doesn't know what to do, but thinks it has to do something. So it can't find any bad cells to destroy. So it destroys the good ones. So it just uses the cluster bomb sort of approach and fires everything in.
Oh
So I
man.
have chronic pulmonary sarcoidosis in my lungs, and basically the body thinks there's something wrong, but there isn't anything wrong, and then it starts to kill itself. So and it causes scarring in the lungs
Wow.
and breathing difficulties, and unfortunately, I have to use these
Yeah,
quite a lot, and I am now. It's gotten to the stage, particularly over the last year. The camera's out of focus. That there we go. That I'm now on
So
the lung transplant list.
so feel free if I make you talk too much to pause and let me talk instead, right? Okay, so can we help this, or how can people? How does it evolve about the search? I mean, the search for solutions, and is there some hope, some we can give people about that, and you, of course.
Yeah, well, they've got like the American Sarcoidosis research people, and they've got the UK Sarcoidosis, and they all do independent research. Unfortunately, there are not many specialists here. There are none in Northern Ireland, and
Oh,
it's
yeah, you're
basically,
from Northern Ireland, indeed.
yeah, it can come in three
Yeah,
ways.
maybe someday we should do something for maybe fund something about the search in
Yeah.
your country, maybe with the help of other YouTubers. We'll see.
Yeah, well, here's hoping. It's a long journey. We did found a local support group a couple of years ago through Sarcoidosis
Okay.
UK, and that helped to bring people together because it's a very lonely disease, and a lot even of the doctors know much about it, and it's
Okay, so we hope this will be fixed soon, and for you, a better health as much as is possible. I know
hope
it's
so.
not
Unfortunately,
easy.
there's no cure, and a lot of the medication you take for it
Okay.
needs other medication to counteract the effects. As you know yourself, when you never just get one pill, you get a handful, because. But
Okay, so we're gonna hope this to be as least painful as possible for you, and that someday we'll find scientific medical solutions for that, and that's it. Now let's get to something more fun for the people as well. But I thought it was important maybe to speak a word or two about that. How does your whiskey journey started, Al? Can you just tell us a bit of
now there's an interesting one, because like all young fellas, I would have went out, to the pub and whatnot, and I had the occasional what you call carry out, where you sleep away off to somewhere nice and quiet with your mates and have a few, but never really thought much about whiskey. And I had a cousin, still do have a cousin, and we used to go out, and he used to have the occasional teacher's whiskey.
Oh,
I was always more vodka, and
oh, really? I didn't knew that.
whenever I would get on a wee bit, and try to get a wee bit on the four sheets to the wind, he would have set of teachers down in front of me, and I would have taken it. Oh, God, I hate that stuff so much with a passion, and that always put me off trying whiskey. I just could not have it, and he always kept catching me out with it. And then my wife went to university in Scotland, and she still got friends over there, and we visit regularly. And it was basically through them. They got me a wee tasting set once, and it was Scotch whisky. And I can't even remember. I think there was a Glenfiddich, Glenlivet,
Oh,
and
when was that, Al?
Oh
What
God,
was the year?
that would have been 25,
Oh.
26 years ago maybe. And what do you call it? A Glenkinchie.
Oh.
And then that was what really made me think, there's more to this whiskey than meets the eye. It just doesn't all taste like teachers. And then gradually from there, I started getting more, building my way up. But the real sort of like epiphany whiskey was Wild Turkey 101, which is kind of strange because it hits the.
Sorry, guys.
Well, the Wild Turkey 101 was quite strange to really get me properly into it, because it is a bit big and bold and strong for a first beginner, but it just from there on, and then I got more into bourbon, and then, as I say, it really started to get into it more seriously. 7, 8 years ago, after the accident at work, where I was off quite a long time, and I just delved into it more and more, and built up a reasonable collection, started tasting, and then thought, well, you know what, it's something I've got a passion for now. I might as well share the passion with others, because, as I say in my videos, after all, whiskey's always better when it's shared.
Yeah, of course. I have a problem on my computer today, so I hope it will stop because we're buffering a bit. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, we'll work it out if we can. Okay, so then, yeah, quite a while. You started a long time ago. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. So we'll have other questions to ask you, but maybe we should start the tasting, and we'll interrupt it. We'll pause it for a while for next question, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just note down that we're okay. Okay, we're gonna start then by drum 1, which has been changed as last minute, so I have to take some infos about it. So we have 5 drums. They're all blind. They're all from my collection. And okay. I have my sheet ready. So here it is. So if you can take your drum 1.
Yeah.
Which was not planned to be tasted now and necessarily publicly. So, but yeah, we're gonna Mark. We're gonna ask him also about that in a second. I'm just gonna switch mode so we can maybe highlight some questions and also see at the same time the first drum. I hope I'm not mistaken. No, I think it's that one. Okay. Just gonna taste it to see if... Okay. We're good. Hi, Des. Hi, Cooler Runnings. Sorry if I forgot to... well, maybe we can get to this while you have the first nose quickly, and then we come back.
Hey, that's a good
So do you
question,
feel you
Mark.
have...
It's one that you definitely find that over time, the more you try, the more your palate develops, the more you learn to differentiate and pick out different things. Because it's like I always do. I'll say to the wife sometimes, here, take a sniff of that. And she'll go like, oh, whiskey, you know? And it's just every time. And then I'll say to my daughter, you know, because I've got her sort of into it, not drinking it, but nosing it. And she'd come over and go, raisins, strawberries. And she's really good at picking things out. But it gets like that over time. And that's why I think it's important to try like Scotch, your bourbons, Japanese, Irish.
Yeah.
And it gives you a wide range. And then it does take a bit of time. It does develop. And if you really, well, you don't have to get all nerdy about it like some of us, but you can still enjoy it. You know, if you take, best thing to do when you're doing it and you want to try to pick something out, for me, is pour yourself the dram, let it sit for a while and open up, and then spend a bit of time nosing, and just what you get is what you get. There's no right or wrong way to do it, you know. And like,
did you see a big change? Yeah. Did you see a big change between when you started and now on the same whiskeys, for instance? Of course, they have changed also, but
that's why I always say it's good. It's good to go back to whiskeys that you maybe didn't like a few years back, because you can go back to them now and you can really pick up something new, or you can get it the other way around, something you liked at the start because it was easy going and you thought it was really good. You go back to it now and you realize, you know what, it's just pretty mediocre. So that's the way things evolve, and it's definitely been an interesting journey. And the best part of it all is meeting people like yourself, the whiskey community, and some of the friends I've made in the galleries.
And I hope to meet you in reality someday.
Oh yeah, likewise.
For now, it's just virtual. But
you can push me about in my wheelchair.
But without the virtual between those last 2 years of the pandemic and all that, some of us might not have made it morally. Me, I say that often. I have probably I will be crazy, not well, if I didn't have this whiskey community to speak about and talk about our interest for whiskey, but also for friendship, right?
That's right.
So
It's a big part of become a big part of my life as well, because obviously I'm retired now. I'm very restricted in what I can do, and it's nice
keeps
to
you
have.
busy. Hi,
Yeah,
David.
it
We have
does keep me
another.
busy.
Ah,
It keeps me in contact, and then about the big gym and the Hallion Battalion and stuff like that, where
yeah,
we keep in
and we have
contact.
an Irish man here as well. I don't know if you know David.
Oh yeah,
You know him? He's in Spain now.
all right, that's good.
Yeah,
We're all over the place.
I know. Okay, so what's going on with this first blind dram on the nose?
It's like a big sherry bomb. It's your typical sort of raisin Christmassy cake.
What can I say?
And that will don't get me started on that. It would have to be
No,
somewhere
me
nice.
too. We can't talk too much about politics on this channel, but you probably know what I feel. I don't want to go into that.
Yeah.
So on the nose, you feel some sherry, you said?
Oh yeah, definitely. And those
Uh,
dark sort of notes.
yeah, there's an element that I didn't want to be in the lineup at the beginning, but as we have to switch samples, for those coming in just now, we had issues, both of us, one of us to find one of the samples I sent, and me, because this is all what is left with evaporation, unfortunately, of a sample from Jim Whiskey Novice that was supposed to be in the lineup, Roe & Co. 13 years old cask strength. I might never know how it tastes like because 3/4 of it is gone by evaporation. So I'm super disappointed, but it's life. But we have this, which it's still. Can you see some element that could drive into some direction there
Eh,
without
there's a bit
giving
of
you
the,
away too much?
like sherry soaked mashed apple. It's it on the nose.
Do you get the peat?
It was what? No peat in there, is there? Can't be
No
peat in
peat in there? Oh, come on. Are you sure you're in blind sample number 1?
there. Yeah.
Okay. I'm worried now.
Or
No, I feel some peat. Maybe I feel the peat because I'm influenced, because I know the content.
it's
That's the
definitely
thing.
what I would call dark and danky, but I'm not picking up much peat. No, or none at all.
Oh, okay. There might be a reason for that. So at this stage, before trying it on the palate, do you have a clue of what it is? Type of whiskey, age, etc., or no? And is it good
Oh,
on
it's
the
good.
nose?
It's good on the nose. It reminds me like an Edredor on the nose,
Oh,
but also because it's
interesting.
got that dark, like I like to say, a damn good dirty whiskey sort of thing going on. But Highlandish,
Okay.
but
So what type of whiskey do you think it is? What country as well at this stage?
I would say Scotch.
Correct.
And it is now as far as age, it would maybe go as it seems to be reasonably well developed, very well balanced. It's I was thinking when I first on the nose that it might be a cask strength, but now I'm erring more on the side of a possibly something less.
Just checking out. Okay. Okay, got it. Oh, okay.
But then again, 46. But then again, it does have a bit of a bite there too.
Oh, we have a question for you. What accent is that?
Aye,
From what
Northern
area?
Irish, Northern Ireland. Aye, Mourne.
There you go.
A good Mourne mountain man. Yeah.
But it's a bit different from Jim, for instance,
Yeah.
right? Is there a reason
But
for that? Or
he tries to be more refined than me. I'm just myself. No, I'm only joking. It's just, there's a lot of variation, even from like
okay.
not only district to district, from town to town. You know, it's
Oh,
it's
interesting.
oh yeah. There's even some places in Northern Ireland where I would go, you would be like, what the hell are they
Oh,
talking
you
about?
want to understand them.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And you're
right.
speaking of dialects or just difference of accents?
Just difference of accent.
Wow, amazing.
It's so wide and varied. It's unbelievable.
Okay. Now, how about, let's put it bigger. How about the palate? Going to the palate now.
I like the palate. It's got, again,
Oh, you tried already. Okay.
Yeah, it's got that richness there.
Cheers. Cheers, everyone.
And there's a bit of sourness coming through there as well, like bitter. It's rich. It's got the dark fizz. Unlike on the nose, really, as it transitions across the palate, this one does have a very bitter, like char edge.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
And it
so it's
does
not
hang
balanced.
around.
Not very balanced, you would say.
It really, well, for me, it really overtakes. It's like, whoo! And it maybe overpowers all the rest of the notes.
Okay.
There's a wee bit of a zing there, but not too much. And as I say, I thought on the nose, the ABV was higher than on the, but I had a sip. But
so you would say it cask strength, or?
See, I thought cask strength and then thought 46, but now I'm. Or it could be 48, but it's definitely at least 46.
And do you see a type of whiskey there, or a region? Well, we're not going to go 1 hour on each sample, right?
No, it goes on the nose. It's more balanced. On the palate, that dark bitterness is overpowering for me, and
for me it's less like that. But I have to say it evolves a lot in the glass and in the bottle as well. And I don't know, frankly, how it can evolve in the samples, especially the plastic samples. I had an issue once with, I think it was Gert, which I sent him a sample, and because it was peated, it didn't stay natural well. I mean, didn't behave well once he poured it, and we couldn't speak about it to review it or anything, exchange about it. So I hope it is not damaged as well as the number 6 sample we have to switch for last minute.
Yeah, no, I would.
We'll see. Do you want to try it with a drop of water, maybe, or I will do that.
Yeah,
no? as you wish.
I just thought I was going on the sort of like Highland side, you know. It reminds me of an Edward, but I don't think it is. It could be but something similar. What could that be?
But if it's a single malt, maybe it's not a single malt. You don't know. Well, okay, okay. Do you want to know what it is?
I do indeed.
And apologies for everyone because I didn't want this to sound too much as something self-indulging, but you couldn't guess what it is because it is a creation of mine. But just it's my infinity bottle number one.
Right.
And in fact, the packaging is not mine except for just little thing. It's an end of bottle which was Abrachan, 16 years old, single malt, with single malt, no, blended malt, from LIDL. You know, those cheap whiskeys. But in fact, let me put this back. In fact, it's a blended Scotch because it's, even if it's 95% malt, so it's Scottish, there's around 5% single grain in there, and the ages are from let me find, from 7 to 23 for the whiskeys, the malts, and 32 and 41 years old for the grain whiskies. And indeed, there's an Edredauer in there. So if you want to know more, there's even some Port Ellen, 25 years old. I forgot, right. But just a centiliter. Edredauer, there's a 6 centiliter of it. So the closed distilleries, there's 2 grain whiskies which are from closed distilleries. The Dumbarton, 32 years old, from Claxton, and there's a Carsebridge, 41 years old, from Berry Bruss and Rudd, which is a 1965 vintage like mine. Well, it's decent, the Abrachan, but it was a bit flat. That's why I started an infinity bottle out of it, David and Sue. I'm not going to name, there's 34 whiskeys in there.
Yeah.
Not going to name them all, but let's say there's some very 1980s Glenlivet 12 years old bottling. There's 1, 2, 3 Springbanks in there, hence the funk, and maybe some barrel char. There's 12 years old cast strength. There's 9 years old barrel oak cask. What was the other one? Maybe the 15? No, the 10 years old. There's Highland Park 21. There's some Clydesdale 15 years old Indy. There's some Glen Murray private bottling Madeira. There's also some Craigellachie 17, Lecheg 13, Balblair 17, Glenmorangie 10, and also some Glen Spey, which is a rare malt. There you have it, basically. So it's a big, it's an experiment. When I do infinity bottles, I only done 2 out of 72 home blends. I not as tight as when I do home blends, when I am very careful of the percentage of each. So it doesn't, I don't start randomly, but I am not measuring as tightly as I do for home blends or for my work with the French distillery. So this evolves over time. I continue to correct it. I've stopped correcting it. It's one from last year. There's only this left. But yeah, this was not supposed to be drunk publicly, not to make me too much publicity, but yeah, we have to place this one instead of one. So it's an experience. So I hope it was not too bad, despite you didn't like it much. Sorry?
I would buy it, but as long as it wasn't too expensive.
Well, it's not on sale. It's 1 bottle only, so Well, just it was a starter. Let's say it's a starter. Okay, before we go to the second one, can you just I wanted to ask you about the boom. There's a current boom in Irish. What do you want to say maybe about that?
It's nice to see because
Because
it used to be a big thing back in the day, and now over the years it just came down to really the big two, Bushmills and Jameson, or well, Middleton Distillers and Bushmills, and there was nothing else, and everything was very generic, and there wasn't a lot going on. So, like over the years, Irish whiskey had kind of lost its way, but now in recent times, it just seems like every time you blink, there's a new distillery starting somewhere, or there's
crazy.
a new bottle coming out. It's good, but the danger is that there could be an oversaturation, and the way prices are going, and the fact that whiskey's not like gin or vodka or anything. You're in it for the long haul if you're going to do your own stuff. So you can understand why some of them are, they're buying in and finishing, and they're doing their gins and their vodkas and whatnot, which you can understand because it's a big expensive undertaking to start a distillery and have to wait.
Yeah, sure.
3 years, and all those times you're waiting, your stock, what you're producing, is just building and building. The prices are going up, and there's not too many can do that. So, but at the same time, everybody seems to be doing pretty well at the minute. And some of the smaller ones, like Cologne, just down the road from me, has got like a real cult following.
I heard that. Unfortunately, there's a lot of Irish whiskies which are not available here in France, and probably in other countries in Europe. I don't know about all. Have the chance to be invited to the Irish embassy last year to be presented 10 or 12, 15 even stands with not all had whiskey ready, but half of them or 3/4 of them were sourcing, of course, whiskey from other Irish distilleries, but they also had gin. I love gin as well. Bless you. It was fascinating to see their proposals. The only ones that started to have their own whiskies were Waterford and Teeling. Otherwise, I think all the others were almost sourcing them. I published something on Instagram about that. But there's still some encouraging, even for those who sourced, they were starting distilling and starting to show people the 3 years old sample of what they were going to do.
Yeah.
And I guess we're going to see more in the future. The only thing, it's another question I wanted to ask you that annoys me is, like I said, and Jim says it as well, Whiskey Novice in some of his live shows, it's the fact they're sourcing a lot into other the main distilleries, but they're not stating that they source it. So when you see all these fancy brands, nice labels, you think, oh, it's their whiskey, but no. But why not just saying it on the label? We source the whiskey, and we finish it home or whatever, or we do our twist on it, and we're going to have soon our whiskey. So there's a lack of transparency. I don't know your take about that.
It's a tricky one. I, like yourself and Jim, I like the transparency. It's maybe something that will change in time because, the way you have to know all the ingredients and everything that goes into everything you consume. But it's probably a battle between the marketing department and the purists, because, well, they're probably catering to the wider market. So they want to make it look good. They don't want to tell them that, well, there's the bare minimum of stuff in here.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe not that high.
I have 2 questions. I have one question here that I can't answer, so maybe you. And so,
as far as I know, because that's why you get some of the like 43%. And, you know, some of the, like, even like, take for instance, Buffalo Trace, 40% over here, 45% in America. And I think
Oh, yeah.
the higher the ABV, the more the tax, as far as I know.
Yeah,
That's
I
probably
guess so.
why a lot of the brands coming out here are 40, even some 42, 43%. And but
Yeah,
thankfully there are some that they're doing it at that
in
non-chilled
France,
standard.
it's also the case.
Yeah.
Now, I can't answer this question. I don't know the offer in Spain. I haven't got too much into the LIDL offer here. Some folks gave me some Ben Bracken to try. I had some Ben Bracken that were decent, but not more than that. So I don't know. I don't know. But I think maybe I will have other questions. We're going to continue to debate, but maybe we should go to blind number 2. What do you say?
Yeah. Yes. Most definitely.
Because time is running out and we're having 3 samples yet to do. So there you have it. And there's a theme tonight. If you put the first one aside, there's a theme tonight. I don't know if people are going to guess it. I forgot also to ask the chat if they were pouring themselves something. This was supposed to be the end of the Irish month. That's also why I have Al as a guest. But unfortunately, I cannot give away everything, but the highlight strength-wise that was supposed to be the Roe & Co, and the Irish one, is not there. But there's still a theme tonight and a sub-theme inside this. But yeah, let's get to the nose. So what's going on in there?
Would sherry be the theme?
Aha.
That's
I'm
another
not sure.
sherry.
Oh, you think you have the number 2? The sample blind number 2?
Yeah.
And you see some sherry in there?
I do indeed.
Oh. And what if I was telling you there is no sherry in there?
Oh, well,
it's first fill bourbon, but
well, I'm definitely getting some sherry notes, but
but
I'm also getting vanilla coming through.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I wanted to make you discover this, but it was one of my highlights of 2022. And I know there's many people that cannot have a bottle of this, even in the country where it is produced. Won't say more now. And I had difficulties to have it. At the time, I was searching to buy me one.
Yeah, still getting those dark fruits, but there's vanilla.
Yeah,
there's definitely vanilla coming through there. Very fruity vanilla.
Yeah. So do you like the nose, or?
We do, and it's a bit, not say oaky, probably something a wee bit less.
It's different for the first
pungent
one,
the note.
for sure.
It's like a lighter wood.
Mm-hmm.
There's a wee bit of floral notes coming in as well.
Yeah, I agree. There's some slight sourness that I feel. I don't know if you get it. And some esters as well I get on my side. A lot of malted barley, a lot of honey.
There's a nice aroma coming through there. It would sort of clear the sinuses, you know.
Okay. So David's going on rum rather than... no, my friend, I should not give away too soon, but to Frederick, the answer is no. you have an idea or a guess now, or you prefer to go on the palate and then guess?
We'll go for the palate.
Oh, you are on the palate. Okay.
Yes, we're just taking a sip. Ooh.
Wow. I love this whiskey. I don't know you.
Woody vanilla. There's a bit of a light peppery kick off it as well.
It's fascinating how we can have different approach. Let me see if I can. Okay, yeah, we can highlight things and still be on. So, do you have an idea about this one? Can you guess the ABV, for instance?
Dark chocolate, maybe even tea. Like,
yeah, maybe
tea without milk.
Would you say it's a high ABV or low ABV? Or?
Oh, it's a high ABV. It's not a low ABV. I hope not, anyway.
Oh.
It's 46.
Yes. Well said. The age? An idea of the age?
$10 or less.
It's a mix of different ages.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's an element in there that comes across as a wee bit of sharpness. It comes across that tends to make you think.
Oh,
there's a bit of youthfulness there.
It's interesting how we can approach things.
But it's certainly very nice.
Would you say it's from which country or region it is? Would you guess, or I'm gonna put some drops. I don't know if you like to dilute your whiskeys or not. It's up to you. You're not obliged to.
Only if I don't like them at the start. It's not giving me a Scotch vibe, and it's not giving me an Irish vibe either.
You're correct. It's something else.
So where are we going there?
Which is opening the theme of tonight, the main theme.
Sweden or Holland? Sweden, maybe?
No. You should maybe watch in another direction. And you tell me when you want the reveal.
Because some of the Swedish ones, especially the McMurrays, can be hard to sort of pick out because they do a lot of experimental stuff.
Yeah, that's why I prefer High Coast that Frederick suggested, but it's not High Coast and it's not Swedish. I'm sorry.
I also like some of the stuff that I've been getting from, what do you call that place?
Oh, I didn't hear it. Sorry.
The Dutch
whiskey. Zuidam Millstone.
Yes, some of the Millstone
stuff.
Yeah,
I still have samples to try from them, and I'm really ashamed because there might be damage in there too, because it's a long time I have them. It was a gift.
I had one in particular that was really outstanding for like just a 3 or 4 year old whiskey.
Do you remember if it was a rye one?
I can't rightly remember off the top of my head, but it was fantastic.
Okay. Never mind.
What?
Because I know they're famous for their rye whiskey, so.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I'll go beyond. I don't think I've had whiskey from any other countries apart from that, like Sweden, Holland.
Okay, Do you want to reveal or guess again, or try to guess, or oops?
Oh, oh,
The
surprised me.
bottle's a bit heavy. We put that here. It is my fair idea. Oh, let me. It's two brewers in Cask. So it's a Canadian single malt from Yukon. And if you wonder where is Yukon, the box gives you away the West Coast location. Fantastic.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so you can see here, oh, sorry. You can see here, if I manage to do it, the still and the two guys who run it.
Yeah.
And it's initially it was a brewery, but it's now it's a distillery since 2009, 1997 for the brewery. They use brewery yeast for their whiskey. They use a very crystal clear glacier stream water. For this, it's bourbon cask. You have also 31. Every batch is different.
Mm-hmm.
They can change the recipe, and this is 1004 bottles only from March 2022 release. Since last year, only end of the year they are sold in France. Before, almost never. So it's quite a rare craft brewery and distillery, and I really enjoyed this as
See
it's
why.
complex. I have a note of ice cream with vanilla and pecan pie note, which I like a lot in there, and very nice, sophisticated vanilla and light caramel for me. So I wanted to make you travel a bit into to the world. So you guessed it, world whiskey is the theme,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean there will be no Scotch in there. I don't know.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's I
So
hear a lot about
there you.
these Canadian whiskies from John, the whiskey neighbor,
Hmm.
and unfortunately, we don't really get a lot of them here. But thankfully, I met one of my subscribers last year who came over and met with a couple of the Hallion Battalion, and he
Oh,
has left
so now if
quite a few
if you
samples of the likes of that, I think, in Shelter Point. So I
hmm.
definitely endeavour to get in and do a few reviews of those because
Oh, that's cool
I say
because
that,
I love Shelter Point, and I'm glad you have some.
yeah,
And
I really am impressed with that.
I hope you will have others of this Yukon distillery. I mean, two brewers and it's. Oh, forgot to mention it's non-chill filtered, non-colored, all that jazz. Right.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice channel, Whiskey Neighbor. Go check it out. So there you have it. Did you expect something as far as this, as
No, I didn't
remote
because
as this?
I thought it's it's uh, it's great to see what's going on there because Canada as well, even in America, there's a lot of craft distilleries popping up all
Yeah,
over the place, and there's just
hundreds.
we never have enough time to get through them all, even if they were just little samples, which is a shame. But
Yeah.
we'll try our best.
All right. How do you feel now? Ready for another one?
Oh, I'm always ready for another one, Greg.
Okay, let's go for this one now, which is another unusual thing, and I really want to have your take on it. So you might see some unusual profiles tonight. There was
Not
also
just
the idea.
you and me.
Sorry?
not just profiles like yours and mine. They're unusual
Oh yeah,
too.
we might be unusual as well. The
Aye,
people in the chat.
after a few more, we might be even more unusual.
Yeah, but one thing that ties us is what you have in your neck. We're both Scorpios. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. The best.
Cheers to all Scorpios, and
Yep.
no puns intended to other ones. So people in the chat, I know you're chatting one with the other, and it's fine, very well. Have you ever had two brewers already? I want to know, and what you're thinking about that. Meanwhile, what's going on the nose, my friend? And I hope it's not degraded so you can see what's... Wow. I won't tell. I'll let you speak on this one. I want to know everything. Oh, so you have it on the palate already?
Just to try not to... I don't want to confuse my nose. Oh, that's different. The nose is quite
After
fruity.
the other.
The
Yeah.
nose is very fruity. But there's also...
Hope you'll get one, David.
There's a... I can't put my finger on it just yet. There's a curious aroma going right through those fruits.
There might be not only fruits, mind you. And also, if the theme is world whiskey, I don't want to help too much there, but you also have to think, and it's a big clue, that regulations might be different in some parts of the world. Just saying.
Can't be Japanese then, can it?
Oh, so Des, you struggle as well as David to have Canadian? Too bad. And even there, the scandal about Canadian whiskies here, at least for Hiram Walker and Sons, is that the ownership is French. It's Pernod Ricard. But yet again, like Jim says, we cannot find almost none of them here, except Lot 40. I love Lot 40. And by the way, saying Lot 40, I personally think there's some connection between this whiskey and the category of which Lot 40 belongs to, but might be only me. I don't know.
It's...
So do you see a connection yourself?
Very different between the nose and the palate. The palate is much lighter and has a wee bit more of a perfumey thing going on.
Okay.
And
do you have the idea of the ABV, what a BV is?
Very perfumey.
Yeah, you have to like that. It's a whiskey which is very divisive, or most of people hate it or love it. There's not many people in between.
It's...
So I don't know if you...
So much different on the nose and the palate. When you nose it...
I wouldn't say that myself, but...
There is a wee bit of the perfuminess there, but...
I get your point.
Yeah,
Aha, no, the theme is world whiskey, Des, but rye is one of the sub-theme mixed with something I can tell now. So it is about the whiskies profiles around the world and how they can match them one between the other, even if they're not from the same category. So what if I'm telling you it's 48% ABV?
Really?
Yeah.
Sure, it is.
And do you have an idea of the age?
3 or 4 years.
Nope. There's
shit.
70% of 7 to 5 years old. Let me check it out. Otherwise, it's 3 to 9 years old.
Ooh.
But half of it, at least, is 7 to 9 years old. 55% of it is 7 to 9 years old.
Chambers.
So you're lost in the country or region, or you have an idea?
I was thinking, just from what you were saying, it could be Japanese,
It is not.
but it doesn't taste like a Japanese because they're mostly light and fruity and easy going.
You never know with some cask they use,
That's
have
right.
to be honest, but
Apart
not
from-
at that extent. I have tasted a lot of Japanese whiskies, but I won't say it's Japanese if I had it blind.
Mhm. But
I know I would say rye whiskey, but is it rye whiskey, in your opinion? And do you love rye usually?
I do love rye. I think it
So-
probably is. It probably is rye, but
And is it pleasant or is it
Not-
weird?
it's a bit weird, as Spock would say to Captain Kirk. It's rye, but not as we know it.
Okay, I
It's.
like that.
I think. What do you talk? American rye,
Okay.
but
People in the chat, what do you think based on his notes, on Al's notes? While for me, I get first nose some very yeasty beer and cider notes, then honeyed, almost mead. Then I wrote second nose is floral, luxuriant, with heady flowers, lily and rose. Then it gets quickly fruity with exotic fruit for me, lychee, guava, papaya, but also apricot and red apples. And then it evokes some French pastry. And the last nose for me is green, so vegetal, suggesting something I cannot tell now, and also mushrooms and black tea. No, it is not. So, do you have an idea of the country, or we shall go to the reveal? What do you say?
possibly an obscure American rye that I haven't had.
It's funny. So, do you want the reveal?
Oh, yes, I might as well make it full of myself now.
No. Anyway, you will struggle to find it. And for this one, I have to say it's not you who are in the test. It's me, because it's the whiskey I blended last year.
All right.
So it's French. It's made of 4 oak casks that previously held some red wine, but have been ST, but not R. So shaved, toasted, but not recharred. And the 5th cask, which is a very small batch, is acacia wood cask. And it's funny because we talked about it yesterday.
That's probably why I was picking up that note that I just couldn't put my finger on. It was something a wee bit different.
And I have to apologize to you because yesterday we have a test chat, and I said that you have 6 samples plus one of this one, officially labeled by me as such.
I should have picked
it
it
was
up.
A trick. No, it was a trick, and like I said, the idea was to, if you can, maybe save that one, that full one, to share with Jim, if you don't mind, because I'm very curious of his opinion.
When you said 48%, I should have just looked down here and thought, my mind's gone a bit
Okay,
slow.
bye, David. Yeah, and to be honest, when I saw the various, I did the cast selection, and when I did it, I really looked for something. When I found out there were similarities with rye, I really pushed that side, that exotic fruit and exuberant and floral, and yeah, you can say perfumey. I'm not off put by that, and I pushed that side because I really loved it. And some of the casks which are in there are amazing. The acacia wood cask, by the way, I loved it so much that I picked it in the warehouse, despite it was already diluted to 42.9
Mhm.
to be used for another expression of them, of Northmen. But I tried other ones, and I have samples there of a 63% ABV. I didn't like them; they were too harsh. So I wanted that one, which is low ABV. The batch strength was 56% ABV. Now, one of the particularity that you don't know about this, let me show you, is, so here's the distillery, brewery
Yep.
distillery. It's a farm brewery distillery. And it is made of one distillation only, but there's in this ex-Armagnac still. It's a bit weird, I know, which was previously a wandering still. But they have two different system of condensers
Mhm.
inside, so it gives a more fruity spirit that you would think maybe.
Yeah,
So there you
interesting.
have it. You have
Yeah.
there's only 1,000 bottles made about this, and the distribution is such crappy that you almost cannot find it, and you will struggle to have it in France as well.
But I have
Hi,
to say,
Welsh Toro. See you. Thanks for popping in. So, are you surprised, or?
I am, but I'm also very
But
thankful to you for sending it to me, saying it's so limited and it's something special, and I do appreciate it. And another note that I was just
you're
picking up there
welcome.
in a wee sip, which I really
Mhm.
like, is Parma Violet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know some hate it. I love that. No, even in Beaumont. Of course, if it's not overpowering everything, but I love those notes. And for me, it's the exotic touch of it that really loved it. There's also some mentholy side which comes from the acacia for me. I forgot to mention that the acacia wood held sauterne, so white sweet wine, while the others were red wine. But I cannot get any red wine note in there, to be honest.
Mhm.
So, but it's I know I played with the casks for people who wondering. I played with the cask that the distillery had. So I did,
Mhm.
and I asked them, "Do you have bourbon, sherry, or no? We only have wine cask. Is it
Yeah.
either red on oak wood or sweet wine sauterne on acacia wood?" So okay,
Mhm.
let's play with that, and that's it. So it's my first and maybe last with this distillery. I don't know. It was so messy. I doubt. I don't know. I don't want to say things publicly too offensive, but. So yeah, there was an experience. The idea was not to do self-advertising, but put me into the test for once, and also show you how exotic and different French
Mhm.
whiskey can be. In fact, like someone said recently in a French paper, very provocative answer to a journalist. Is it a French whiskey? And the person said no. What is French whiskey? Does French whiskey exist? And the answer was no, because almost every distillery is different from the other.
Mhm.
You have some traditional, almost Scottish style distilleries there. I won't say more for now. That might be close to Scotland style, if there's one. And the others are very different because they rely on one cask or
Mhm.
on different type of cask, or also on different work with the distillate fermentation and that, and with the still shape, which are very different. and a lot of second-hand stills, and very, very crafty and experimental. So you cannot say there's one style of French whiskey, but here you have one of the most singular, weird or special one. So I wanted to make you try. That's it.
Yeah, no, it's great to have the chance, and I haven't got. I think that's probably my first experience of a French whiskey.
Oh,
and
might be not the last. Might be not the
hopefully
last.
not. But one good thing I have to say about France, well, I could say more than one good thing, but I have the. I took my then girlfriend to France, to Paris, to propose. So took her up to the top of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, that was cool. Wow, that's cool.
Took her up to the top of the Eiffel Tower, and so that if she said no, I could throw her out over the edge. But
I love that. You hear that, guys? That's amazing.
So thankfully, she said yes. I'm not sure whether she really wanted to or not, or it was out of fear, but she's still sticking around yet. So we've been married nearly 18 years now, so I must be doing something right.
Congrats, my friend. So this is Armoric. This is a brand from Varangem Distillery I recommend as well. The oldest French whiskey distillery, which produces whiskey only since 1983. And first released in 1987, the blended whiskey. And I think 1991, if I'm not mistaken, or 3, for the first single malt. So it's quite recent. And when I started my whiskey journey 25 years ago or so, there were only 4 or 5 brands of distilleries. Now there's 100 and around 77 in production with a finished result to propose to the audience. So it's the boom currently now in French whiskies, I guess, as big as in Ireland.
Yep, and there's another interesting point as well.
Yeah, so,
like I watch, Whiskey for Everyone, Matt, who does the allotment drams, and he put up a map of the English distilleries on Instagram the other day, and it was like,
oh yeah, English as well. There's a big boom. Yeah,
there's a few like Bimber and the Cotswolds and the Lakes and whatnot, but there's so many
Yorkshire,
more.
Spirit of Yorkshire.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's hard to keep up. Honestly, very hard to keep up, and also to buy even samples and to. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
So how do you feel now? Maybe you need to rinse your palate because that one was special, weird.
This vodka really does clear the palate. That's only water.
I'm so disappointed about the Row & Co sample. Looking now.
We'll get you sorted, don't we?
Yeah. So don't tell me if you tried it and enjoy it. We might say another time. Hi, Emil, as well. Hope you're well. Okay, so we are now moving to. It might be weird too. Oh, shall go to this format again. So do you have blind number 4? Normally should look as dark as this one, right?
Oh yes, nice and dark. Just like my wife's heart.
Now on the nose. Aha. So cheers to your wife then.
Indeed. She needed dark.
What do we have on the nose? Normally there's a progression and yeah. Oh, long time I haven't tried that one. As often in that particular case, you will see later on why. Woof, 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 woof. And I will also show to people something very rare today after that tasting related to this one. So you skipped the nose.
No, I did the nose, but
People
ooh,
want to know about that.
this is like a barrel-proof bourbon.
So we're continuing our world tour, but we're also on a theme like the previous one, that don't judge a book by its cover or by its taste or nose. And this is a clue. It's not to trick you, my friend, it's just to exchange about some special things in whiskey, let's say. It might be the main hidden theme, special things whiskey.
Definitely oak, vanilla, caramel.
Yep. Oh my god. I get something that shouldn't be there, in my opinion, which is Irish single pot still feel. A lot of sherry. I don't know if you agree.
I got
On the
sherry
palate.
initially, but then it sort of. This is why sometimes when I initially get the sherry on the nose,
Fucking hell,
I'll have
this
to
is
take a
weird.
wee step back and have a wee sip.
For me, there's very weird single pot still feel to it. I got some menthol, I got some red fruit, I got some lots of oak as well, some prune, some licorice, some chocolate. Don't want to influence you. It's very complex, and there's something sometimes a bit brutal about it. ABV must also be said is not 40%.
Ooh, definitely not.
How much would you say?
55-ish.
Not so far. 51.5.
It's. Hold on, let me see.
Okay, by Cooler Running. It's cool to have you on board.
I was just checking there because I know Balcones do a port pot still sort of.
I have
whiskey.
to tell you, I never had any balconies. I only have a wheat sample someone sent me. We're not able to find any balconies here. Now, it is true I could have asked a friend to bring me a bottle, but it is not balconies. Sorry to disappoint people in the chat or here. Is it good? For
it's
you?
good, yeah.
Do you like?
I do.
You have an idea of the country? Now that I said to you, it's not Texas, and I can tell you it's not US, to help you. It's not Northern American.
Again, I'm going back to either. No, see, I'm gonna very Millstone-esque again, but you could be going down the route of one of the cask strength Irish whiskies, but it's very much like the Millstone I had. Similar.
To be honest, I picked this for you especially first because it was rare and now expensive, but it's not the main reason. Second, because probably a distillery you don't know. Third, because it resembles for me a lot both to rye, not so much rye, but to Irish single pot still, and also because I thought maybe you would like this very unusual
I do like it.
robot or whatever it is.
It's just
And
it's just got a really nice way with it. It's big and it's robust, but
so
it's
do you
not
have
too.
do you have an idea of the age? Oh my God, I love it.
12 years.
If 12, no.
Nope. Higher. Ooh. Well, I really love you said it's special because it's hard when
It
it's
has
higher
some,
up. Sometimes
it has some.
the ABV can skew the age. 18.
No.
Ooh. Frig me. 21.
You're close.
What's next after it? 25.
22. 22 years
22.
old.
22.
22 years old. 22.
22 years old is a rare one. Could it be one of those like single grain Scotch?
No, but you
No.
said something correct.
Single grain.
No.
You sound like my wife. No.
No. You said 3 words. 2 of the words are not correct. 1 is correct.
Grain.
No, I said no. Scotch. Scotch is correct.
Scotch.
So it's single malt.
It reminds me of what do you call that? Oh,
But to be honest, I'm not sure you have already tried this distillery without disrespect for you.
no.
Why do I say that? Maybe because it's not an active distillery.
It's that not
Just
Garvin,
saying.
is it? Garvin, or what's the name of it?
No, but you're in the right place.
Oh, I can't remember the name because I remember getting something very similar to this, a sample, and I can't remember who sent it to me, but it was the same age as me at the time, and it was one of the, as I say, inactive Scottish distilleries, and it reminded me very much of Stag Junior.
Oh, amazing. Well, I think this could be very interesting to trick people, but
So
oh no,
I can remember the name of it.
Gav, let me tell you, Lochli can only be 4 to 5 maximum years old. This is a 22 years old, so it's not a new distillery. No, Port Ellen is not, because I said it was not far. Good, nice try. Because I said, and you know what it is now, Port Ellen, right? Because I said it was not so far. He said Girvan. People, if you can guess, if you want to guess. No problem, Gav. He said, Al said Girvan, and I said, oh, you're in the right place. Why? If I'm not mistaken, now I have a doubt.
I can't remember the name of it.
Let me check something, because if I have a doubt, I will be ashamed if I made this mistake. I want to know where is Girvan, because there's a trick with single grain distilleries that are not all located at the same place. Okay, I'm correct. Oh, yeah, I think I'm correct in my assumption. It's not Brora because it's Lowlands distillery. In the Lowlands, Brora is Northern Highlands. Do you want to know?
Yes, very much so.
It's an indie bottling. It's an indie bottling of from Little Mill, 22 years old, from the Perfect Dram. And it's a joint bottling with La Maison du Whisky. So it's a 1989 distilled and 2011. Only 244 bottles.
Oh, that's good.
And the Dram is a brand, is a range from the Whiskey Agency, and it's from the oldest Scottish distillery, which is not, as I often hear, Glenturret, but Little Mill. How about that?
Brilliant.
And you can
It's
see
really,
the color is insane.
yeah, that's brilliant.
Did
That's
you
good.
expect that? Did you
No.
expect this distillery?
Definitely not. It's so good.
And I don't think you're going to come across often to it. So
No, I do not think so. God, it is good.
now I can show you something even rarer, but of less value, though I've seen it 400 euros somewhere. Look at this. Do you know what it is? It's my last bottle unopened of Little Mill, 8 years old, for before year 2000.
Wow. That is
And
a
how
special
do I
bottle.
know? Yeah, it's nice. It's 40%. How do I know it's less than? Because you see the little infinite symbol there. It's the social security duty paid, which doesn't exist after year 2000 in France. So it's a very old bottle and collector, but yeah. And it's a very nice, with even very grassy. Usually Little Mill style is very grassy, and with this one has a hint of coffee note, which I like a lot. Someday, if you make it here, I will open it for you to make you try. Why not? But for now, this is in your glass.
You've just made me want to get there quicker.
Well, I also have a Port Ellen. I also have a Craig Glenallachie, 35 years old, stuff like that.
Jesus, Greg, the way you're going here, mate. You know, the next time
So I don't think you.
Next time I go to Paris, I could be proposing again.
Yeah, just wait for the piece to be brought back, because now it's a fucking mess. But okay, so there you go. You have an old lowland whiskey.
Oh, lovely stuff.
Welsh Toro says, yeah. I don't. It's painful now with Brexit. I don't receive samples, press samples, stuff like that. It's gone. Yeah, so I wanted to highlight this distillery, which is not often mentioned. I also have a 25 years old sample of it, official, which was kindly given by someone yet to open. So, which is about 4 numbers. Oh, you're asked to have dinner, maybe. Yeah. So, do we have time for a last dram?
Of course we do. You've always time for that.
Okay, so maybe you should rinse your palate, because the whiskey that was supposed to be after that, so some blind sample number five is supposed to be richer and with more character than the one we're gonna have now. But there is something special also about blind number 6 we're gonna have now. So if you rinse your palate well, you should don't have too much problem, because it's drastically different kind of whiskey. And it's one of my favorite dram of 2022, hands down. Take care, David. Thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it, and as everyone here. And sorry, haven't seen you before, so thanks a lot, Whiskey Scout. Welcome on board.
Hey, Whiskey Scout.
So we're on to our last dram out of 5, blind as the other ones. And sorry, I have a Tullamore dram glass, but it shall not influence you about what it is.
Now, if this is Tullamore Dew, I'm giving up my whiskey channel.
I agree, it cannot be. So how about the nose? Yeah, it's pitted like hell, but it's only about 40 ppm as I understand it. But it's bloody good for me.
It's peated, but it's not really big bang in your face whopping peat. But
No,
like,
it's
like
super balanced
yeah,
on the
from
palate.
down
It's
from
less.
down here you can smell the peat, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's not overpowering.
Yeah, and also there's something super addictive for me, which is typically the that mix of peat, of maritime elements, but not too much, not really medicinal elements for me, but
No,
there's this star anise note which I really love, and uh, almond paste thing that I really love in Isla whiskies. But is
yeah,
it an Isla whiskey? I don't know.
it's more like a Talisker sort of a profile because I get the brininess, the sea salt.
I would say it's something between, but I shall not say because I'm giving away already too much. So
Uh,
for you, it's is it Scotch for you?
so far, yes,
Yeah, I will
it,
reassure you. Yes, my friend.
yes, it's got that lovely peaty aroma, but it's as you say, it's
It's
balanced. It's got brininess. It's
yeah,
got sea salt.
and there's some
It's
heady flowers as well for me.
it's got a distant aroma of a smoky fish house at the harbour.
Yeah, I'm gonna give away too much if I comment what you say. So do you have an
It's just
idea of what it is? And
and just as I say that, like it's I'm looking out here now, just this when I'm looking at this direction, the computer's here, the camera's there, and I've got the window open and I've just let the cat out. And just down there, a couple of 100 meters is the Irish Sea.
oh, really? Oh, wow,
Yeah.
fantastic.
You know, and then if I
Uh,
look out the other side, which you can't from here, it's the Mourne Mountains. It's but I'm just right, nothing between me
oh,
apart from the field and the sea. And
fantastic.
it
I
just
hope to visit you someday.
oh, you're always welcome here, mate.
Now I can give you, my friend, a visual clue for a change. Are you ready for it?
I hope so.
It's a visual only clue, but you have to find yourself what it is just for a few seconds.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a visual clue. I let you watch and then I go back. Did you see something? Not too far from my head.
It's an old Ballantrae, is
Too
it?
late.
Hmm.
No, you
Nope.
should have looked not at the bottles. Okay, I let you one time again. Not the bottles. Look at
It
not the
can't be.
bottles.
It can't be an Octomore, is it? They're
No,
too
no,
high.
no. No, you should look at something else than the bottles. There's no Octomore. I have an Octomore, but it's not on the. I'm sure people in the chat have found out. It's not the bottles, so it's not Springbank. I thought you could recognize the place. So I'm stopping now.
Hmm.
You had the clue. You had the clue. You don't have it.
Oh God.
Oh, it's funny. I thought it was recognizable at a distance. Okay, so I will help you. So is it from Scotland?
Yeah.
Let's be serious. It is, right? So if it is from Scotland, can it be somewhere there? Look. Don't you recognize that map?
Oh, kind of.
It's
Ah,
Isla.
Jesus.
It's
It is
from
Islay.
Islay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Sorry if it was a bit abstract, Welsh
No,
Toro.
Islay.
It's an Islay whiskey. And it's a fantastic bottling. And I have to apologize in advance to the audience.
So one of the better happens.
No, it's a French store pick, but it's good like hell. I have 2 bottles of it in advance. It's one of the best value of 2022. And I pay 44 and in offer 38 for this bottle, which is not more, I guess, than 6 or 7 years old. And it's a mix of bourbon and sherry casks. Do you have an idea of the Islay distillery, what it is?
What was that?
In the chat, I got a nice Coulter note now. Tarmac stuff. Tarmac and Coulter and... Okay. Reveal.
Aye.
I can reveal it just by the cork. The cork, guys, in the chat. The cork in the chat.
Kalila.
No, you're not good. No.
Kilhoman.
And
I think I agree.
It's French supermarket pick, French market only, Loch Gruinard. And once Luna asked if it was a true name, yes, it is one of the shores on the west of Islay, and it's a fantastic mix of bourbon and sherry cask, and it's not too much different from the early release of Saneg I have home. The first release of Saneg, which was for France only and Germany only, was with bourbon and cask at 50-50%. Now we don't know the percentage of this regarding bourbon and sherry cask, but they're both casks. It's 46%, and I really find it fantastic. I send a lot of people samples of this. It's my second bottle. Every batch is different. This one is a batch, if I'm not mistaken, I will put it in the chat. It's a 2020 batch, but it sells so fast here. So this is no, I'm mistaken. No, it's not this one. I gotta have a look. I'm sorry, apologies. My Springbank. I mistake it with the Springbank. You see. Just a second. I will write it down in the chat. So you. Okay. Just a second. Yeah, 17-2-21 in French. So let me write this down in the chat. Did you expect this distillery and this profile, Al?
Not at all. I've never had a bottle of Kilhoman. I've had a few samples, which I've enjoyed.
Oh,
I think
really?
I've had 2. Yeah,
Oh.
I've had 2 samples.
So
One that I enjoyed,
I'm happy.
one that I enjoyed, and one that but I can't remember the name. I think one of them was a cask strength that I really liked. But for me, Pete,
so I'm even more happy to make you discover it.
But definitely, if I could get that, I would buy it all day long. It reminds me very much of one of the old Ballantrae ones that I had.
Oh, the Noich statement,
which was very
there you
balanced.
go.
And it wasn't, as you say, medicinal. It wasn't really one of those in-your-face peaty whiskies. And I really, really did enjoy it. And I tell you what,
Okay.
I would buy that all day long. In fact, I haven't poured the whole dram. I'm pouring the rest now.
Oh, yeah.
Really,
same,
really lovely.
Same from later. Now, if there wasn't this issue of Brexit, I will send you a bottle. But The problem is the cost could be as important as the bottle price these days. So
Mm.
I don't know. If you have someone that can visit me and will go back to you, I can give him a bottle if you trust him. But he might keep
Jesus
it
in
for himself.
Strasbourg. There's one that
Who?
lives in Strasbourg. Someone that lives
Oh,
in Strasbourg that comes home very frequently.
oh, so okay. So let's manage something. Let's do something if you like.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah,
would make me
there
to
you have it.
kidnap someone. Here, Ninja. Here's
Sorry.
another one coming in to say hello.
Ah, hi, the
Hey,
kitty
Ninja.
cat.
Look,
Eee. No, it doesn't look at the screen.
Ninja's very
Ah,
timid,
that's
but very. Put it like this: if you squeezed her, she's like a set of bagpipes. When she purrs, she's got the loudest purr in the world. Isn't that right? Right, I'll let you go now. Yeah,
Oh, I love this whiskey too much. I don't know you, but this is
yeah.
so
No,
stunning.
it's something that I could easily sit down for on the night, put a nice show on the TV, and just sip and
Oh yeah,
just
yeah. So
put my
easy drinking.
feet up
So well made.
and
I don't
enjoy what.
know. Now, I don't know if you're gonna have a bottle. It's gonna be a different batch, but I had two batch in a row that were fantastic. I have two unopened bottles in case the shop ran out of bottle. I didn't want to miss them, so I'm not gonna
I can
give them
understand
away.
that.
But yeah, and to be honest, 44 euros at the big supermarket nearby. It's. I mean,
That's a
I
steal.
prefer it to the Makirbe. I prefer it to every other core range.
I think it was the Makir Bay. They do a cask strength, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the
That's
one I
nice.
liked. I
I
like the cask
tried it once. That
strength.
was nice.
I wasn't fond of the standard.
Yeah, I think I don't know now. I have an old batch which is not fantastic. 2012 was a bit weak, but somebody sent me samples of cask strength, Kilhome and single cask. So I ended up adding the samples in there, and now it's much better.
Yeah,
So sometimes I enhance my whiskies with samples of other same distillery but other things, and sometimes it works very well. But I have to say this is fantastic. If
I,
this was cask strength, I think I would faint just by the nose. Ah, we'll get to heaven.
yeah. Oh, it's really good. I enjoy it.
Yeah, well, you're very welcome, my friend. I'm happy at least this one blow your socks off, if I may say.
I'm not wearing any at the minute, so
Yeah, yeah. So,
I've just got my little flip flops on here.
okay, so it's 1 hour and 43 minutes. Can you believe that? I
Yeah,
haven't have dinner yet.
time
I
goes fast when you're enjoying
haven't
yourself.
had dinner yet. Hi, Chris. You're coming the end of the. It will be cool if you can watch into replay. It will take me a few days maybe to put timestamps, but Nostoro's having an Armoric 10 to have a dram with us. Cheers. Yeah, yeah. So bye, Des. So yeah, I think we're gonna close this. And oh, I forgot to ask. I had questions for you before we go. If it's not too late, do you have three go-to favorite Irish whiskies to show us?
Ooh. Well,
To give some tips, or it's too late?
no, there's a difference between favourite and go-tos because some of my favourites are too
Okay.
expensive to be go-tos. But if I was going
Okay,
for
so let's say go-to that. Okay, Al, let's say go-tos that people can afford easily. Even one, only one, as you wish. one that you can reach with ease now at this late hour?
Well, I could go for 3. Parr's Gold Label, which always
Okay.
hits the spot. And one that probably a lot of people might think, the Bushmills American Oak Cask, the bourbon finish, it really hits it for me at that lovely price range. And one that's a wee bit more expensive than you, Limavady, which is probably not available too widely. But
So
I
in
have
Dumbarton,
reviewed it. I have reviewed
yeah,
it.
I have to watch that, but we don't get this whiskey here,
No,
unfortunately.
it is. To be, some people have given it sort of like reasonably high scores and medium to high. I absolutely adore it. It's probably one of the best bang
So
for
we
buck
might
Irish whiskies you can get.
So we might do a swap then of bottle.
Yeah, and it's a
Who
beautiful
knows?
bottle as well. It's a beautiful
Oh,
bottle. You
yeah.
can use the bottle as a. It's in the background, but it's too far back. You can use it as a
Okay, don't
decanter
worry.
as well. Beautiful
Nice.
bottle.
Send me a picture when you can on my and
Oh, I
see
will
what
do.
we can do. Okay, folks. So I think we're gonna end that with this very positive note and mood with that whiskey, I guess. I'm gonna say bye-bye to everyone and very thanks for watching, everyone. And Al, if you can stay a few minutes with me backstage, I will say bye-bye to everyone. Don't go, and we will just have a quick chat, just the two of us. And wishing you, everyone, a great day, if it's day, afternoon, or night, whatever. And see you soon. And it was great chatting with you, and also talk to Al with all these samples. And hopefully, sometime it will be me put on the test completely.
Oh yeah.
I would like that. And see you soon, guys, and take care. Bye-bye. Okay, stay there, Al. Bye, everyone.